is the John Meccico Show on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Now, here is John Meccico.
All right, welcome everyone. It's out. Read all about it. The IG report. Oh, I'm sorry. There's nothing to read about. Oh, guys. Okay, the big day that everybody was anticipating. The IG report came out. And as anticipated by many in the know, it found no kind of misconduct or political bias. This is not a complete dud. I don't want everybody just jumping off cliffs like, oh my gosh, what happened here? There's a lot to this, and we're going to try to unravel this. As I said a few seconds ago, the IG report comes out, and as anticipated by as many people that knew, it found no kind of intentional misconduct or political bias regarding these FISA warrants. And many of us know that this is not correct. We're going to explain why this report came out the way it did, where Horowitz stands in all this, and why this is not even close to being a done deal. So those of you who are upset, don't be upset. Calm your nerves. Stay calm. It's going to be all right. All right, it's going to be okay. I promise you. The thing that Michael Horowitz did do while trying to get the FBI off the hook was saying that he found horrible misconducts or significant inaccuracies. He said the IG probe identified at least 17 significant inaccuracies and omissions in the page applications and said they would launch a new audit into FISA processing. What does this all mean? What this means is he is saying that there was no intentional misconduct regarding the application of the FISA warrants, which is totally incorrect. They lied to a FISA warrant court judge. You're supposed to have significant evidence and that what you present to that judge is accurate and truthful to the best of your knowledge. They did not do that. But you have to remember, Horowitz is a DOJ guy. He's getting his reports from the FBI and whatever allowable investigation he could get. So he doesn't have the same channels as a Bill Barr. He doesn't have the same channels as a John Durham. So trust me, this isn't a big revelation, regarding what happened today. Now, what is funny is that not everyone was on board with Michael Horowitz's findings, and John Durham himself spoke up. Now, remember, John Durham, he's investigating from a wide range. He's got a huge umbrella to go with here. He's been to Turkey. He's been to Ukraine. He's been to whatever country you want to talk about in regards to getting to the bottom of this. So his report is going to be very different. The funny part about it is he admits that it's going to be very different, which I thought was a little uncharacteristic, but something must have occurred here for him to want to speak up. All right. And he basically released, again, a rare statement, and he disagrees with conclusions of the so-called FISA report after DOJ Inspector Michael Horowitz found in the review that the probes launched largely compiled of DOJ and FBI policies. Again, that's where Michael Horowitz is. That's his home. That's where his area is. That's where he's going to get his information. Durham went on to say, based on the evidence collected to date, and while our investigation is ongoing, last month we advised the Inspector General. So they advised Michael Horowitz that said, we don't agree with some of the report's conclusions. So this report had already been pretty much done, concluded with. They kind of read it. They said, this is not exactly accurate. Regarding how the FBI opened the case, but they went with that anyway. Horowitz still put it out there. He was politically correct in that he said, I have the utmost respect for the mission of the Office of Inspector General and the comprehensive work that went into the report prepared by Mr. Horowitz. However, our investigation is not limited to developing information from within component parts of the Justice Department. Durham is basically saying what I just said right there, that his scope, his outreach is limited. It's very limited to where he can go with this. He got his information from the DOJ. He got his information from the FBI. What did you think he was going to get? He was going to get information that kind of exonerated the FBI. We're going to get a lot more into that in this hour because I'm going to really harp on this because it's so important. It's so important. You'll see why. Durham is basically saying as he's talking about this, saying, look, we don't agree with this investigation. Our investigation has included developing information from other persons, other entities, both in the U.S. and outside the U.S. What John Durham is basically saying at this point is, don't get too comfortable because of the Horowitz report. The hammer will drop, and some of you guys will be the nail, and he's going to hurt you. Some of you may remember that Durham's ongoing probe has transitioned to a full-fledged criminal investigation. See, he's an attorney that has the ability to subpoena people and just get a ton more information than Horowitz. The fact that Durham made this a criminal investigation speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. I swear to you it does. And he's saying that, again, don't get too comfortable. I've got all kinds of different information than what Horowitz has. He did his job. And in a sense, I'm kind of glad because, if they all would have agreed just so nice and tidy, the Democrats would have said, they've all colluded with each other. No, clearly they haven't. Now, Attorney William Barr, he ripped the FBI's intrusive investigation after the release of Horowitz's review, saying it was launched based on the thinnest of suspicions. Excellent, because he's exactly right. The Inspector General's report now makes clear that the FBI launched an intrusive investigation of a U.S. presidential campaign. This is Barr talking. On the thinnest of suspicions, and in my view, they were insufficient to justify the steps taken. What is Barr saying here? He's saying that there was really no solid evidence. Everything was based on a rumor, and you still went through with the FISA court warrant, which you had no basis of doing. You had no basis at all of doing that. But that's what they did. That's what they did. And believe me, Barr and Durham's report it's going to be scathing. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for the Comeys and the McCabe's of the world. Now, something interesting over the weekend. I saw just a phenomenal interview regarding this particular subject with Dan Bongino and Greg Jarrett. Now, if you don't know who those two gentlemen are, they're contributors to Fox News, and they know this particular subject inside and out. I've read one of the books. I'm in the process of reading a second book, and between the two of them, they have 4 books regarding this whole Russian hoax / Spygate scandal. Their books are extremely revealing regarding this whole story. Now, I, again, have not done much on this subject because I noticed that when the Sean Hannitys of the world are doing this story over and over and over, which I get why they're doing it, and believe me, I'm glad that Hannity actually, he keeps marching on with it because he doesn't want people forgetting. But people get lost after a while in who's this guy again and who's that guy again and what did this mean and what do these words mean? And you can get lost in the story. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait at least until this IG report came out so that now as these things start leaking through and filtering through, that we can start putting the pieces together where it makes sense. It's not just, yeah, I heard something about this and yeah, I heard something about that. All right. So that's why I want to bring this up now. Listen, it's the most important time in our American history regarding these investigations. This is going to reveal probably the biggest political scandal ever recorded in American history. Clearly, this is important. Now, how the history books write it, especially in this day and age, your guess is as good as mine. But man, this is too important to not pay attention to. And I can tell you that if it goes the way I think it's going to go, the implications for the Democrats, it's going to crush them. It should crush them. But we'll see what happens. It is this important to find out the truth. If what appears to be true is true, that the Dems decided to investigate Donald Trump falsely, no crime being committed, and have ruined the lives of people like Michael Flynn, who's an American military hero, just because of their hate for Donald Trump, then this has to be what their party's about. And they got to know the type of Democrats that they're voting for. This story has to be told in its proper context. This impeachment proceeding that we're witnessing is very much tied into this whole thing. Donald Trump is right. No president should ever again have to be put through this. And I think we're lucky enough to actually have a president who he doesn't crumble amidst all the ridiculous allegations. And he actually has the wherewithal to just fight back. I mean, it takes a guy with a very hard shell to just let this trickle off his back. It really does. I mean, this guy wakes up every morning looking for the fight. He doesn't run away from the fight. Very few people can actually do what he does. Very few. I swear, God put this guy here at the perfect time. I really mean that, man, because I just can't see many political people not crumbling to the pressure. Thank God he's not a politician. He's a businessman that's used to this kind of stuff. He's used to being in quote unquote the swamp, fighting the fight. We're very, very fortunate. I mean that. This is important because the swamp needs to be drained. And the swamp rats are not going to be flushed out easy. That's not what swamp rats do. Like all rodents, they're going to fight to survive. But in the end, they're going to lose. They are going to lose. 2020 is an important year, people. Obviously, we have an election that is critical if America's to continue to be the land of prosperity, the land that reaches back to help other people to get on their feet, the land of opportunity. Not like Bernie Sanders, who says it's a land of fairness. It's the land of opportunity. Bernie is wrong. He's so wrong when he says that. To have this country shrink into mediocrity does this country nor the rest of the world any good. I like being a citizen of a country that leads the way in how things are done versus a country whose leadership steps into office and the first thing they do is take a world tour that apologizes for America's greatness. What kind of leadership is that? But that's what we saw in 2008. Apologizing for America. You just became president of the United States. I don't even want to go into that because, I'll go on a rant. As much as I hate what is going on with this impeachment process, I truly believe that this country needed to go through this to hopefully get back to what this country is supposed to be. It's supposed to be great, and it's supposed to be free, and that laws are to be abided by lawmakers who will enforce them. That's what this country is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about a land of opportunity for everybody. This had to happen if there's any chance of this country getting back on the right track. It actually had to happen. It sounds weird to say, but sometimes you got to go back, get through the ugliness to take 2 steps forward. And I believe that's what's going on here right now. Now, back to this great interview between Bongino and Jarrett. A couple of things that were revealed. If you hadn't been paying close attention to what the Obama administration was trying to do to our now President Donald Trump and his team. One, the FBI had no solid evidence of any kind to even start an investigation into Donald Trump's campaign. That James Comey in private testimony, he admitted that they had no credible evidence when they launched an informal investigation back on July 31st, 2016 against Donald Trump. Andrew McCabe, Lisa Page also stated in their private testimony that there was nothing, no credible evidence. Now, according to the IG report today, Michael Horowitz, he kind of disagrees with the assertion, but John Durham and William Barr, I already told you their statements, so you know. This is actually not the worst thing that could have happened today. Or else the Dems would say that Barr and Durham and Horowitz, as I said earlier, they would just say that they colluded. There has to be a reasonable basis to believe that a crime was committed and a specific articulable facts in support of that particular crime for the FBI and DOJ to open up an investigation. There has to be those two things. This is Greg Jarrett. This is what he pointed out in the interview. Those things did not happen. You have an unverified dossier. That's not enough. A rumor that George Papadopoulos was involved with something. That's not enough. Hearing a rumor is not a crime. But they jumped on that, and they tried to make that the basis of this investigation. Second, this was actually pretty interesting in this interview. Mueller knew almost immediately that this was a farce. I've said that all along because a month after he got into power with this whole thing, they stopped with the FISA warrant applications because he knew this was nothing. This was nothing. Now, one of the things revealed in this interview was that on March 5th, 2018, there was a meeting with Mueller and the president's lawyers. And Mueller admits that there is no collusion evidence against Donald Trump, but he refused to drop the case. Why would he refuse to drop the case? Because they wanted to keep searching, hoping they were going to find something. We're not going to drop it because we still think that we may find something, so let's not drop the case. Let's continue to waste American taxpayer money. That's what happened. That's what happened. So Mueller, he wants to question the president under oath, which was not going to happen. That's never going to happen. He wants to question him about obstruction. And a huge shouting match ensues. And Trump's attorney, John Dowd, gets up out of his chair, pounds his fist on the table, gets in Mueller's face and yells, "You got nothing. Go ahead and try. You got no leg to stand on." I would love to have been a fly in the room, on the wall in that room, that day. Wow. That must have been awesome. It was also noted that Trump's team could see that Mueller was not totally with it mentally anymore. So basically what they're saying is what we saw in July, I think it was July 15th when Mueller went in front of the Judiciary Committee and was questioned, that was not a one-off. Apparently he had been that off mentally for a long time. They said that he was lost, he was confused. That's how it was described. He couldn't remember basic common law. And again, as I said, you remember, when he sat there in front of the Judiciary Committee for questioning at the request of that genius, Jerry Nadler. Way to go, Jerry. Nice job. He looked awful. He looked like a shell of his former self. He mumbled and he bumbled through the whole proceeding. And it was hard to watch. It really was hard to watch. Well, apparently Trump's attorneys saw that same Mueller in this meeting, and they were actually concerned for the guy. They were like really, really concerned for him. They also realized at this point that it was Michael Weissman, the guy that Mueller and Rod Rosenstein, the U.S. Deputy Attorney General at that time, picked to do the investigation. And it was the Clinton campaign funding it. These were all the people behind it. Mueller wouldn't drop this, wanting to stretch this out, hoping to find something on Donald Trump. Weissman also knew this dossier was trash, but they kept going with it. Weissman was a huge Hillary supporter and hated Donald Trump. Of course they weren't going to drop it. Not if they could. It didn't matter about the American taxpayer money. We're just going to keep going. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. Third thing, this Horowitz report does not amount to much right now. Horowitz may not be convinced that the FBI opened this investigation with political bias. But remember, Horowitz is an investigator. He's not a U.S. attorney. I alluded to this when we opened. He does not have subpoena power. Also, he's the inspector general for the DOJ. He's not the intel community. All right. The information he receives may say that the FBI was kind of trickled to open this case by faulty intelligence, therefore taking the blame off the FBI. But let's face it, man, it's hard to imagine that somewhere along the line, the FBI was not understanding that, look, this whole thing looks pretty shady, but they still kind of went along with it. Maybe they were just given direct orders to do it. But this was shady. This was shady beyond belief. So these are the names that you always hear, and this is how they're all tied in. I know you hear these names, but let's tie this in so you really understand this, because I find that most people don't. James Clapper, the ex-director of national intelligence, he talks to John Brennan of the CIA, who kind of instigates this farce. Brennan goes to Harry Reid. He's the House Majority Leader in August of 2016, and that date's important, August 2016, and tells him that they have this dossier. It's a secret, he says. The media doesn't know it yet. We'd like you to write a letter demanding that James Comey of the FBI investigate this. Comey had already opened up an investigation, but the media doesn't know it. Reid is then to leak the letter to the media and let it take off from there. Let me say it again. Clapper to Brennan to Reid to Comey. Clapper, Brennan, Reid, Comey. All right. Brennan has stated publicly that he didn't see or he didn't know this about this dossier until December of 2016, which is really incredible, since he briefed Harry Reid in August. And Harry Reid writes this letter with information that was only in the dossier. By the way, I wish they didn't have to use the term dossier, because it's not a word that's used every day. Look, don't let this word dossier confuse you. It just simply means a collection of documents about something. In this case, it's false dirt on the president. That's all it is, just a collection of documents. It'd be better described as a false dossier. All right. If you want to know where the first domino is going to fall, I think, and then I'm talking about when Durham's report comes out and Barr's report comes out, and then they do whatever they have to do after that. The first domino, I think, is John Brennan. You may have to wait for the Durham report to come out and the Barr report to come out, but it will eventually happen. I'm hopeful it comes out by this summer. They've said maybe December, but that would really serve the citizens of this country better if it came out before the elections. This is what's going to be interesting about Barr's investigation. Who is going to get more of the blame? James Comey of the FBI or Brennan of the CIA? Comey's going to blame the CIA and John Brennan for giving them false information to investigate and therefore try to absolve himself of any blame. Brennan, he's going to say that he was given information and he's not an investigator, and therefore how can he be blamed? He just heard something and he gave it to the FBI to look at, to investigate. It's just information that he thought should be looked at. Both of these guys are shady, they should suffer significant consequences. I mean, of all of this. But the timeline of all this shows that Brennan is probably lying about all this. And I think he's trapped. He's trapped in this lie. And I think that's why he's probably the first domino to go down. Harry Reid hears this in August, writes this letter, basically what the dossier says. He says, he hears all this from Brennan. Brennan didn't know about the dossier till December. This just really isn't working for me. I can promise you right now, this Christmas, Brennan and Comey, they're not sending each other Christmas cards. Not even close. McCabe, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan, they're all going to turn on each other. Watch. I'm telling you, they will all turn on each other. It's crazy to now know that Christopher Steele can't even vouch for the truth of the dossier. This thing's called the Steele dossier. He can't even vouch for the truth of it. And it has his name on it. He put it together 2 weeks after being asked to dig up dirt on Donald Trump. That's incredibly fast. Even the FBI should have saw this and went, wait a minute, that you got that information that quick? And yet this is what the FBI did. They ran with it. You can't make this up. This is incredible. The media, by the way, when they got the story before the election. But they didn't really pay it much mind. Everyone assumed that Hillary Clinton was going to win, so the press really didn't give it much attention. But then the unthinkable happened. Donald Trump won. Say what? He won. Nobody, my gosh. Every news report outside of Fox, maybe a couple of people on Fox, but they were like, oh, she's going to win in a landslide. This isn't even close. He won. Now, the media wants to look at this story. Now, this is where the Russian-Trump collusion was really born. Now we have a story. How could he win? There must have been something. Oh, my gosh. The fourth thing, you know what? We're going to save this for after the break, the fourth thing, and we'll get into some more of this. Stay tuned. This story is just unbelievable in just so many ways. I can't. You can't make this up. You really can't make this up. When we get back from the break, we're going to ask, how much did Barack Obama know? How much? All right, guys, listen, for you on the radio, we are going to go to Monday Night Football. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at home versus the New York Giants. Listen, the Eagles are 5-7, and they're a 9.5-point favorite. No team in history should ever be a 9.5-point favorite if you're 5-7. You've lost 7 games. You've won 5. You can't be serious. And I just saw the weather report. I just happened to see this on my phone. It is a torrential rainstorm. They're going to be lucky if they score 9 points total. I don't even think 9.5 might be the over-under. Honestly, this game may be 6-3 if the field goal kickers can find enough footing to kick a field goal. It's going to be sloppy if it continues like this. Oh my gosh, man! They better hope that lightning doesn't start coming down the field, because it's going to be it's all going to be like forfeited or have to be played another day. And we'll actually have a little story about that later with. The Dallas just keeps losing. It's a wonderful thing. Hey, guys, when we get back, we're going to finish with the story and the IG report and the whole Russia collusion. Did President Obama, did he know anything about this? Come back, I'll tell you what I think. See you after the break. All right, Facebook. Oh, my gosh. I hope this is making sense and I'm not talking so fast. All right, guys. Kathy, thank you so much for watching from Canada. Two-Faced Trudeau, he don't want a piece of you, girl. You're gonna rip him up. Hello, Kim, Kathy. I hope Barn Durham doesn't just go after the Comey and McCain. Nah, they're going after everybody. They're gonna go as high as they can. I think they're insulted. I think they're upset. But it's a good point, Kathy. Gene, I hope so. I hope so too. Michael, Michigan Mike in the house. Denise and Mike always in the house. Hello, my beautiful. There she goes. Michael, that's beautiful. You set a good example for the rest of us. Gene, thank you. Okay.
Denise, hello. Yeah, of course. Michael, this is the test of strength of our faith. It absolutely is. Timothy, do you believe he was put in the White House for a reason? Yes, I do, Timothy. Oh, I'm sorry, he's saying it to Michael. In God, there is no bounds. Yep, I truly believe Daniel 2 verses 20 and 21. Yeah, I think you can read a lot into Trump's uh, election based on that scripture. Kim, hi Denise. Okay, Denise, hi Kim. Hello, you guys. Michael, hey John, what's up with the Philly show? I'm a Philly fan. I'm from Jersey, from South Jersey. So I root for Philly. I root for Baltimore because of John Harbaugh. He was an old Eagles coach. Kathy, Bongino stated Steele didn't write the dossier. No, he didn't. No, I can't even get into all that right now. He was just an outfit. Yes, you're right, Kathy. Mike, I think he knows everything. Obama, I think you're talking about. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute. He does know everything. But will they have the cojones to put him on the stand? You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you after the break again.
Back to the John Meccico Show on the Valley's new talk leader, Talk Radio 1680 KGED.
All right, we are back talking about this IG report. We're talking about this whole Russian collusion hoax. Talking about a great interview that I happened to see this weekend regarding Dan Bongino and Greg Jarrett, who really just kind of know everything about everything. The trifecta would have been, I think, if John Solomon was there, because he definitely knows everything that's going on. We left off with just asking if President Barack Obama at that time, did he know anything about this? Should he be brought up for questioning? I personally think I would love to hear it. I don't think it will ever happen. But I don't know. He's not president anymore. Is he immune to going up there? It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting. We know that Peter Strzok had texts saying that the White House is running this and that POTUS wants to know everything we're doing on this. And there were a lot of text messages like that. One thing that this interview brought up, though, that was extremely interesting, there was an envelope on June 23rd of 2016 that arrives at the White House, and it's believed to be the dossier. It says for President Obama's eyes only, and apparently Brennan is somehow involved in this. Now, Barack Obama, he had to know about this. This was called a counterintelligence investigation. This is the part that Greg Jarrett brought up that I thought was like, I didn't know this. This was good. He says it's called, air quotes, a counterintelligence investigation, which we all know is really a criminal investigation against of Donald Trump. Because they named it a counterintelligence probe, it has to have the president's approval. It has to. I didn't realize that. Counterintelligence probes are for the benefit of the President of the United States. The information goes directly to him about foreign activities. Well, if it's called a counterintelligence investigation, then there's no question that he knew what was going on in detail. Now, Brennan is in conversation with the President Barack Obama at the time, on a daily basis because he is head of CIA. And he gives the president a daily debriefing about whatever's going on. Remember, this is a counterintelligence investigation. There is no way that Barack Obama doesn't know details of what is going on here. I cannot believe that. If again, it was just such a great point that I had to bring up. Counterintelligence investigation, that's for the President of the United States to know about. So he knows this. And should he be questioned? I would not be surprised if John Durham or Bill Barr put in a report. It would be helpful if Barack Obama was questioned regarding this. I don't know if they could do it. I don't know if they would do it, but it would be interesting. It really would. The interview goes on about a lot more things, including the craziness of George Papadopoulos being part of the origin of this story. This should, how this got started. Total BS on that. Did Steele actually write the Steele dossier? No. Doesn't look like he did. They cover some other things as well. It was a great interview and important because all this is going to be borne out in the weeks and months ahead. Remember the names of what they did, people. Remember some of these names of what I said. It's fascinating. This is going to be very interesting this upcoming year in 2020. For not just because we have an election, but for just a lot of reasons. This needs to get to the bottom of. It just absolutely does. And I think John Durham and Bill Barr, especially by their comments today, they're not having it. They're not playing. They're going to bring down the hammer, and a lot of these people that I mentioned here, they're going to be the nails. That's just the way it's going to be. What else? Oh, I did want to say that, Barr did say this regarding the Pfizer report showing clear abuse. He said, in the rush to obtain and maintain Pfizer surveillance to Trump campaign associates, FBI officials misled the Pfizer court, omitting critical exculpatory facts from the filings. What does he mean by that? They omitted critical exculpatory facts that would have actually shown that Donald Trump was innocent of this. They omitted those things. And they suppressed or ignored information negating the reliability of their principal source. This alone is a problem. This alone is what makes Horowitz report look a little bad. Again, I can't speak for I can't say that he's shady. I don't know the guy. I don't think he was trying to mislead anybody. I think he was just doing the investigation. He's a DOJ FBI guy. I mean, that was his scope of what he was investigating, and he got the information that he got, and he could only do it to the best of his ability based on the information he had. Did the FBI give him the correct information? That is something different. We'll have to see. But listen, out of the three between Barr, Durham, and Horowitz, Horowitz is, he's small potatoes in a big way compared to the other two. So just wait for the Durham report. Wait for what Barr. I think. Look, Durham and Barr spoke enough today. I mean, they didn't mince words at all. I mean, when Bill Barr is saying right here that the FBI misled the FISA court, that alone is a crime. You're not allowed to do that. He said they did it, and they omitted critical exculpatory facts from their filings, meaning that they omitted the facts regarding that Donald Trump, that there was no evidence of any of the stuff that they were attributing to him. There was nothing, and they omitted those from the filings. That's a crime. That's a crime. I'm sorry. The Inspector General found the explanations given for these actions unsatisfactory. While most of the misconduct identified by the Inspector General was committed in 2016 and 17 by a small group of now former FBI officials, the malfeasance, meaning the wrongdoing, and the misfeasance, meaning the transgressions, detailed in the Inspector General's report reflects a clear abuse of FISA processes. Look, the guy said he found 17 issues with what the FBI did, but nothing's misleading. I don't know. Again, I don't know the guy. I don't want to just hammer him without knowing better. But I'm sure a lot more information is going to come out in the days and weeks ahead. Well, it'll be interesting to see after everybody's read the 400 pages what they say. That's just my early assessment of it. But I think I'm on. I think I'm right on with it. So we'll see. Just remember, 17. You find 17 things wrong and nothing's misleading, and the FISA, again, it's a crime. You can't mislead the FISA court judges. That's the bottom line. So we'll see what other people have to say. All right, another thing that was bothersome today, James Comey. He's always bothersome. He's just like, what, 6'5" of 240 pounds of bothersomeness. He just bothers you just looking at him, right? Because he's shady. You just look at him and know he's shady. So apparently he apparently decided today, after the Horowitz report was released, to be a little smug about it. And he said, "So it was all lies," he tweeted, in an apparent reference to President Trump's claims that the FBI wrongly investigated his ties to Russia. No treason, no spying on the campaign, no tapping Trump's wires. It was just good people trying to protect America. Oh, dude, stay smug now. I hope you keep that smugness until the Durham report comes out, and I hope he hammers you, because you are so off base here. Comey in his tweet and in a Washington Post, of course the Washington Post, op-ed appeared to downplay the significant concerns cited in the report over the Bureau's efforts to seek the highly controversial FISA warrant to monitor former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Of course, nothing to look at there. Let's not discuss that. The IG probe identified, again, 17 significant inaccuracies and omissions in the Page applications. They're going to try to revamp how they do the FISA process. You don't have to revamp it. The system works just the way it works if you adhere to the laws. And if you don't adhere to the laws, you want to make this process work, make it punishable. Make what they did punishable, and nobody's going to do it again. And make it count. Make it severe. Nobody will do it again. You don't have to do new audits into the FISA process. It works just fine. Be truthful. Hopefully somebody's listening to me, because that's exactly what needs to happen. We don't need to redo this. We just need to make the consequences count. He says, this is Comey again, although it took 2 years, the truth is finally out. Oh, no, it's not, James. No. I wouldn't be flapping my gums yet if I were you. No, you are not out of the woods yet. You may be breathing a bit easier today, but there's more coming. There is more coming. You can hold on to your smugness a little longer, but you will not walk away unscathed. I don't believe it for 1 minute. So, yeah, pay attention. Guy's so smug. He really is. Oh, just disgusts me. All right, while all that was going on, there happened to be a House Judiciary Committee meeting, or House Intelligence Committee releasing call logs. And look, today what was going on with Nadler and all this stuff was it was a bunch of nonsense. They were shouting at each other. But I got to say that the Dems, they got in some good shots. The thing that was so obvious here, though, where was Adam Schiff? It was like, where's Waldo? Where was Adam Schiff? Nowhere to be found. Was it a sick day? I tried to look up. I was trying to read everything I can. I even Googled, where is Adam Schiff today? I couldn't get an answer. Where was Adam Schiff? Ah, his absence, very conspicuous. Interesting. So, pressed on who looked for Nunes' phone number. This is what all this was about. Nunes, by the way, he's suing people left and right here because he's not going to take care of this. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to just sit here lying down. But anyways, Doug Collins, again, an absolute stud. He had a tense back and forth with Democratic counsel Daniel Goldman over the House Intelligence Committee releasing call logs from Giuliani. And also Lev Parnas, and there was Nunes involved and John Solomon involved. And they're asking, because it appears that whoever looked for Nunes' phone number, they appear to have come from subpoenas the committee made to AT&T. Goldman said he would not address how they conducted the investigation. That alone is crazy. You're not going to let people know how you got their phone numbers? You're not going to let people, you're going to keep it a secret how you got Devin Nunes' phone number? I think you've messed with the wrong guy. I seriously think you have. Also wouldn't say why it was decided to include the information in the report. Goldman said it was peripheral evidence to the probe and that questions about the calls were better addressed to the individuals who were actually on the calls. No, it's better addressed to Adam Schiff. That's who it's better addressed to, who inconspicuously, he was just missing today. Just took a sick day, I guess. It was just convenient to do it today because he just knew he was going to be asked questions. Are you serious? You're a joke. A joke. Collins also pushed Goldman to say who authorized the release of the phone call information in the report, to which Goldman said he would not address specific deliberations of the investigation. Oh, my gosh. So basically, Goldman sat there to take the beating that Schiff should have took. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And he looked it too. I mean, he just looked like he was just sitting there going, I cannot wait for this to be over with. Oh, Lord, please let this be over with soon. That's what he looked like. That's what he looked like. At another point, Collins criticized Goldman for suggesting that Solomons landed his ambassadorship because of a major Trump donor. Because he was a major Trump donor, Solomon donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. That happens all the time. Stop it. Mr. Goldman, this is Collins talking. You're a great attorney, but you're not Adam Schiff, and you don't wear a pin. Gates later jumped in, shouting at Goldman that Republicans want Schiff in that chair and not you. I'm sure Goldman was saying, I wish he was in this chair because I'm tired of getting my behind whooped here right now. Yeah. In conclusion, Goldman tried to offer a closing statement in the exchange, but Collins cut him off, says, you won't answer my questions. We are done. And then just stared him down. Just stared him down like, I dare you to say anything. Say something. And Goldman just shut up. It was comical, but it was sad at the same time. It's sad for the American people. So where was Adam Schiff today? Once again, not being the leader he's expected to be for the House party. Nah, he's allowing others to take the arrows for him. Leading from behind. Way to go, Adam Schiff. You truly are a shifty one. No doubt about it. All right. Some of these people nauseate me. Comey nauseates me. Schiff nauseates me. Pelosi nauseates me. Goldman, I just felt sorry for today. I mean, just took a beat down. It was comical, but really the question was, where was Adam Schiff? He's the one that needed to answer these questions. Yeah. He may be, after today, he may be gone for a long time. He may get, he may be sick for a few more days. That flu. Oh, it's going around. It's getting everybody. It happened to get him. I'm supposing that that's what happened. All right. Now, related to impeachment, related to these hearings, we have some media news, which, I think it's important for you people that have heard my show before. You know how I talk about the three big megaphones, that academia and Hollywood and the media, and let's face it, the left own 90% of it, Well, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. CNN's 24/7 Trump bashing strategy does not appear to be working. CNN primetime hosts Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo, and Don Lemon, they celebrated Thanksgiving with the network's lowest rated week in primetime viewership in 3 years. You have to go back to 2016 to find numbers this low. Now, I had to do some investigating myself. Anderson Cooper is reportedly making up to $12 million a year. Chris Cuomo, is reportedly making about $3 million a year. And Don Lemon's reported numbers anywhere from 728,000 up to a couple million. I couldn't get a direct number on that. Now, why do I bring this up? I really don't care what these guys make. But I am curious that if these salaries actually warrant the tanking viewership of CNN. I mean, $12 million and you can't get 1 million people to see your show? That's not good. It's not good at all. Do I believe it's the talent that's causing this? No, not really. I don't believe it's that. Do I believe it's the content in which they talk about, of what they talk about? Absolutely, I believe that's it. Absolutely. Yeah, Fox News averaged 2.2 million viewers during this primetime hours of 9 to 11. From November 25th through December 1st. MSC averaged 1.3 million. That's not even close to Fox. During the same time period. And CNN managed 643,000 average viewers. Fox News beat them by almost 4 times as much. Almost 4 times as much. Wow. It was CNN's worst performance in nearly 3 years and the liberal network's worst turnout among the key demographic of adult ages 25 to 54 in over 5 years. And that's the main age group that they're always looking at. Man. It's not like it was a slow news week. All right? I mean, you had all this stuff going on, plus the Michael Bloomberg thing. You had the Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher story, the surprise trip that Trump took to Afghanistan. Yes, the weather-related stories. I mean, there was all these storms, back east. It was horrible. CNN averaged only 138,000 primetime demo viewers, less than half of Fox's average of 303 during the week. And the numbers just go on. I'm not going to read them all, but I did find it funny that Fox News was the most watched cable news network, 47th straight week. Hallmark Channel, ESPN, MSNBC, and Nickelodeon were also in the top 5. CNN nowhere to be found. So Hallmark and Nickelodeon are whooping your behind. Wow. That's even the 5. Fox beat CNN and MSNBC combined in both total day and primetime viewership. And even the 5, which is not primetime, beat MSNBC's Rachel Maddow show. So, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And, yeah, they had their big moment with Pelosi on that day, the day that she announced the articles of impeachment against President Trump were being drafted. Not even 2 million viewers. Look, I got a message for you guys. All right, there's an old saying that if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. All right, you're not fooling anybody anymore. Even your never Trumpers with TDS level 10 are pulling away from your network. I mean, really, that's what they're doing. Put away your political biases, try to do some legit TV journalism and sensible opinion pieces. It's not relatable anymore. You keep preaching doom and gloom in a time of prosperity. We're prospering at this time. It's not relatable any longer. But guys, keep up the good work. You're just doing great. Maybe one of the problems is this. There was this early November poll conducted by Global Strategy Group, found that 42% of those who were undecided on the issues of impeachment, they just felt exhausted by it. 27% said they feel confused by it. Only 12% of these potentially convincible voters, convincible voters, said that they now support impeachment. 12%. not even 1 of 8 people. Oh gosh, you can't. You really just you can't make this up. You really can't make this up. There was another story that said that what was going on here? Florida's 21st district had the highest concentration of viewers watching Fox, and California's 27th district had the smallest number. No surprise there, folks. No surprise at all. Yeah, you gotta like it. And independents, according to this data, consume the 3 cable news networks. Apparently, they're leaning more towards Fox as well. Look, I think that's great news for conservatives because you don't want people that are independent getting bad news or false news. You don't. So, I'm really glad to see these numbers come out. I think it just means something good for, the 2020 election. I certainly hope it does. And, hopefully it just continue the way it is. And these impeachments are not going to help them any. And if they think that they're going to get a little bump from this Horowitz report, they're not. So we'll see where it goes. All right. One last story because, I like to end it on a nice story, and it is Monday Night Football, so I thought I'd put a football story out there. Chicago, Khalil Mack, who played for the Oakland Raiders. He was a stud for the Raiders. He got traded to Chicago before last season started. He's one of the better defensive players in the NFL. Apparently, we have a story here where he's delivering Christmas cheer to residents of his hometown in Florida. He paid off all the holiday layaway accounts at a local Walmart. That's nice. The store in Fort Pierce, located on Florida's East Coast, announced the Happy Holiday news Friday on Facebook. It said, we have some wonderful news. If you have an active holiday layaway account at your local Fort Pierce Walmart, your account has been paid off. We here at Walmart would like to thank Khalil Mack Foundation for your generosity and for making so many families happy for the holidays. Everyone is truly grateful for everything you have done for them. Really, really nice. Yeah. We did the thing with Richard Sherman last week from San Francisco and some of the stuff that he did. And, people just crack on athletes so much about, you always hear the negativity and, any scandal that comes up. Yeah, it's nice to see these things. The 20-year-old's foundation had approached the store to ask to be a secret Santa, but of course, they didn't make it a secret for long. They put it on Facebook with his name on it. He's probably going, I asked to be a secret Santa. What part of secret did they not understand? So Lombardi said the donation covered more than 300 layaway accounts, but he did not disclose the dollar amount. That's nice. At least he kept that a secret. The holiday gift was only one of Mac's several acts of generosity this year. He also, I guess, for a Pop Warner team, the Chicago Chargers, they needed some money to play in the Disney National Championship, and I guess they had a few $1,000s that were left to be paid so that these players could reach their goal, and he paid it. Mack also paid for 100 cleats for all football players at Fort Pierce Westwood, his former high school, before the start of the year season. So, Khalil Mack, good on you. Nice story. He's an all-pro linebacker. And I have to thank Khalil Mack for one more thing. I would like to personally thank him for having 2 tackles and a sack last Thursday night to beat the Dallas Cowboys and somehow allowing the Eagles, who are 5-7, to just be a game out of being in contention for their division. Dallas just keeps losing. They just keep losing, and the Eagles keep losing, but Dallas allows them to be in there. If both teams win the rest of their games, Philadelphia wins the conference because they will have beaten Dallas and whatever the tiebreakers are. So there you go. So I got a lot. I got to thank Khalil Mack personally because he's doing the job, right? I mean, you got to like that. That's fantastic. I love it. All right, guys. Got a couple minutes left, and I just want to say I hope that what I talked about early in the show was not confusing regarding this whole Spygate Russian collusion hoax. It shouldn't be. You've heard the names often, but I wanted to go over it because it is important. It really is. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down the pike. And by the way, notice that the New York Times and the Washington Post, they're trying to get ahead of these stories. Somehow the stuff is getting leaked to them. When you see a story by the Washington Post or the New York Times talking about this, and it not incriminates the left, but maybe, adds a little shade to it, is because they're trying not to incriminate themselves. Because listen, Durham and Barr, they're gonna tackle the media on this too. The media doesn't get a free pass. For all these guys that have been lying, the way they've been lying, they don't get a free pass at all. No. So, expect this Durham report and this Barr report, it's going to be scathing. It's going to be absolutely scathing to these people. I'm disappointed that Horowitz did not suggest that consequences need to be had. I'm disappointed that he didn't say that there was misconduct and that it was purposeful. He made it sound like it wasn't really purposeful. I tend to disagree. I think it was. And again, he's a DOJ, FBI guy. That's where he's getting his information from. Maybe he can't be faulted with the information that he gave out. But it doesn't mean that they get away with it. Trust me, the hammer's coming. The hammer's name is John Durham. The hammer's name is Bill Barr. And trust me, a lot of nails to whack. A lot of people going to get whacked on this. Guys, you're listening to Talk Radio 1680 KGED and Monday Night Football. New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. With that weather, I don't know if they score any points, but it'll be a game to remember for sure. All right, guys, take care. All right, Facebook. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Joan, you see me? I got my Phillies jersey on. All right. Michael, Slim Shady. Yep, Slim Shady was in the house. Kathy, I follow American politics a lot. Yes, you do, Kathy. You're great. However, was wondering, can a president be impeached or charged without a crime after they leave office? Ah, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think impeachment is strictly for a sitting president. Um, it doesn't mean that he can't be uh, found criminal or found to have some kind of criminal liability. I mean, after all, he's still the president of the United States. Oh, Michael answered, they can't be impeached after they're out of office. Okay, Michael, thank you. And they still can be charged for, oh, just what I said. Okay, good. Mike, thank you. The reason why I asked is because I remember Kamala Harris saying that she was going to go after the president to try to impeach him once. Yeah, that's how stupid she is. Stephanie, hello, Steph. How are you? From Oklahoma, thank you. Kathy, very generous of them. Yes, it was. I'm sure you're talking about Khalil Mack. Kathy, many thanks again for another great show, John. Kathy, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Guys, thank all of you so much. All right. I guess there's a rally? I think there's a rally tomorrow, and then I think Jared should be back tomorrow, actually. Anyways, guys, see you later in the week. Thank you.